Now we are going to discuss some very important point or very important topic called as key limiting factor. Key limiting factor. What do you mean by key limiting factor, sir? That is, the resource is not available to the extent you require it. Resource is not available to the extent you require it. Resource is limited. Now, when the resource is limited, what you should do as a business, using the available resource, you should try to make sure you are going to make a maximum out of it, which means you are going to make maximum profit out of the resource available. For example, guys, let's say A is there, B is there, C is there. A, B and C. Okay. Now, A units, there is demand. Okay. For product A, there are 1000 units demand. Product A, 1000 units demand. I'm damn sure I'm going to send both of you out now. I'm noticing from 4:15. Oh, sorry, you guys didn't come at 4:15. Whatever the time you came in, sir. Where were you so many days? Yes, you came back, no? Yesterday you saw the class. Yesterday's class I watched the recordings. Attended online. Then why you were disturbing him? I told no yesterday itself, sir. Please concentrate. Don't talk. A 1000 units demand is there. B, let's say 2000 units demand is there. C 1500 units demand is there. 1000 units, 2000 units, 1500. Not you, madam. You don't worry. I don't send the people who are sleeping in the class. Now, selling price per unit. Okay. Now, let's say A could be sold at 100 rupees. B could be sold at 200 rupees. C could be sold at 50 rupees. Okay. Now, variable cost. Let's say variable cost, instead of variable cost, I will write it as direct material. Okay. For A, you need 40 rupees direct material. For B, you need 100 rupees direct material. For C, you need 20 rupees direct material, or let's say 30 rupees direct material. Okay. Now, direct labor. Guys, per unit of A, you need 4 hours of labor. Per unit of B, you need 6 hours of labor. Per unit of C, you need 2 hours. 1 hour will take. 1 hour of labor. Okay. Otherwise, the example will go wrong. That's the thing. Now, labor, direct labor per hour. Let's say rupees 10. Or let's say rupees 5. Rupees 5. Now, tell me here how much it will be? 20, 30, 5. Direct labor hours available. Direct labor hours available 4,000 plus 12,000, 16,000, 16,000, 17,500. 12,000 hours. Direct labor hours available is 12,000 hours. Now listen. Quickly tell me the contribution per unit of A. Rupees 40. B 70. 200 minus 130. 70. C 15. Now if I ask you guys one thing, this is per unit we can make. Yes or no? Now the thing is you have only 12,000 hours of labor available. Of course, you can produce all the three products. You have all the resource except labor. Because A will take 4,000 hours of labor. B will take 12,000 hours of labor. C will take 1,500 hours of labor. Total labor hours required is 17,500. But do you have so much labor? Now, that labor hours as it is restricted resource, as we don't have enough resource, that we call it as key limiting factor. Now, sir, let it be key limiting factor. What the hell you are expecting from us from this one? I want to know. It is damn sure. I can't produce 1,000 units of A, 2,000 units of B, 1,500 units of C. Now my question is, which unit to be produced? How many units to be produced? Very simple, sir. B is giving you more contribution. Select B. Okay. So if you select B, contribution will be how much? 1,40,000. Here fixed cost doesn't matter at all. Either you produce A, B, C, whatever it is, end of the day fixed cost remains. So you are planning to make the contribution of 140,000. Yes or no? Yes. Now my question is, does anyone has any other answer other than B? Selecting B. I selected B because that is giving me more contribution per unit. What if demand A is more over B? What do you mean by that, sir? See, here I am producing only B because the required time is also 12,000. I have also 12,000. If required was 12,000, if I had 14,000 hours of labor, then I would have produced in the 2,000 labor hours, how much ever is possible to produce A. For example, if the available hours were 14, for B I would have used 12,000. Remaining 2,000 hours, I would have produced A because that is giving me more compared to C. Because B demand is 2,000 units, no? Yes or no, guys? Now my question is there any other alternatives other than producing B? If yes, what it is? C na? Only C? Only C, then you will be booking only 1,500 hours of labor. A, C and little bit of B. How much of A? Full 1,000, which will come to 4,000. C full 1,500. Then B you are telling. That is 4,000 and 1,500. 5,500 hours. 6,500 hours are remaining. In that each unit takes 6 hours, which means you can produce almost 1,083 units. That's what you are telling. How did you arrive at that? How did you arrive at that? Numbers? On what basis you told that A, C and B or C, A and B? Doesn't matter, no sir, leave. A, C and B. On what basis you told that? The contribution you can maximize in? Getting what?
if you first produce A within 400 hours means we can get contribution 40,000.
Okay.
And another 1,500 hours means we can get
2,25,000. Okay. Or 22,500. Okay. 62,500.
and the remaining labor hours is spending with us. So
1,083 into 70. 1,083 into 70. 75,880. So earlier how much you got? So according to you, here you will get 40,000. Here you will get 22,500. Here you will get how much you told now? 70? How much would be the total contribution?
138,000.
Which is better?
1 lakh.
Any other? With any other plan? Any other plan, madam? No? Listen here now. Same plan which you explained right now. Other means other than this. Okay. Listen. Guys, listen. In this scenario, what you should do, you know, for making decision, contribution per unit won't be helpful. Listen here very carefully. Whenever it is a key limiting factor, contribution per unit is not going to help. Which means you should calculate contribution per unit of limiting factor. Contribution per unit of limiting factor. Here limiting factor is labor hour. Now A, listen here. Contribution per unit of limiting factor. 40 rupees you can take as a contribution if you produce 1 unit of A. 1 unit of A takes how many hours of labor hours? Which means per hour 10 rupees. Per hour 10 rupees. Now B, you can produce or you can take 70 rupees as a contribution per unit. Each and every unit will take how many hours of labor? So per hour 11.67. 11.67. Got it? Next. C. 15 rupees per unit you can get. Each and every unit will take only 1 hour of labor. So contribution per unit of labor is, which means the ranking should happen like 1, 2, 3. So the decision should be taken on the basis of contribution per unit. Now I will produce C to the maximum extent possible. Here it is 1500 units. So C will contribute me 1500 into rupees 15. Rupees 22,500. Now guys, B. But here only 1500 hours are done. Which means remaining number of hours are 10,000. In the 10,500, if I use 6 hours for each and every unit, how many units of B I can produce? 1,750. I am going to produce 1,750 units at the when each and every unit contributes me 70 rupees. 1,22,000. So now my contribution is coming to 1 lakh. Understood? So always remember this point. Whenever they ask a key limiting factor question, these days examination that is asked, like basically they're asking key limiting factor. whenever they are asking this, you should make sure you are going to calculate contribution per unit of key limiting factor. Contribution per unit of key limiting factor. Based on that, you are going to take a call. Now, can I do a bit modification in the question? One more small modification, where of course the numbers are going to change now. Shall I? The modification is very simple. See, sometimes what they tell you, no? They don't give 4, 6 and 1. They will give 20, 30 and 5. They will give this information. Labor hour per is how much? So using this you can find out how many hours is required. They will give the total. They will give per hour how much. Using both of that you should find out how many hours it is. That we have already discussed in our overhead chapter if you remember. Now, overhead chapter, sir. That chapter is there in our syllabus. That only we don't remember. What do you mean by remember those questions? Online guys, is that clear? Online? Now listen. Now, one small line I want to add. Minimum units. Minimum units. 100, 200, 50. That is, minimum 100 units of A should be there, whatever the plan it is. Minimum 200 units of B should be there, whatever the plan it is. Minimum 50 units of C should be there, whatever the plan it is. In that scenario, what you should do, sir? Same step you follow. That is, contribution per unit of limiting factor. First one it was 10 rupees. Second one it was 11 point. Third one it was 15. Okay. Same ranking give you 1, 2, 3. But before you going for the how many units to be produced, listen here carefully. First block minimum number of units. First block it for minimum number of units. That is A. 100 units are minimum. So 4 hours per unit. Block 400 hours. B. 200 units. 6 hours are required. 1200 hours. Next C. 1 hour. So now how many hours are getting blocked? 1650. Now how many hours are remaining out of 12,000 hours? 10,350. Now using this 10,350, produce on the decision what you have taken. Now first choice or first our selection is C. How many hours? How many units are required? 1,500. Now don't take 1,500 into 1. Because already 50 units we produced. Already 50 units we produced. So maximum we are going to produce is 1,450 units. So 1 hour is required. 1,000. So now how many hours are remaining? 8,900 hours. Our next selection is B. Our next selection is B. Already we produced 200 units, which means 1,800 units chance is there. But check whether you have enough hours for 1,800 or not. 1,800 into 6. 10,000. Which means you can't produce so many units. So let's calculate how many units we can produce max to max. 8,900 divided by 6 hours. 83 will take 0.33, you can't produce. But again, 0.33 means 2 hours. In that C, you can produce 2 more units. But you can't, because C maximum you produced. How much is required for demand? Now, our production should be A, 100 units, B, 1683 units, C, 1000 units. 1483 here, 200 here, 1500, huh? Got it? This is how you are going to do in case of limiting factors. In case of limiting factors. Sometimes they might give market demand, production. You should always stick for the whichever is lower. Got it? I hope these things are clear. Sometimes more than one factor is limiting. Let's say material is also limiting, labor is also limiting, machine hours also limiting. Material is limiting, labor is limiting, machine are also limiting. Here what you should find as per material how much units I can produce, as per labor how many units I can produce, as per machine hours how many units I can produce. Lower of these three is what maximum you can produce. Now you will get some units. Now whatever decision you will take, for that you should consider these units. Understanding, right? So whenever they give more than one key limiting factor, you should calculate for each and every limiting factor how many units I can produce of each. Out of all the factors, lower what you can produce, that only you can. Because let's say as per material, you are getting 2000 units you can produce. But as per machine hour, you are getting 1500 units. Now let's say you selected 2000. But you use 1500 hours of machine. You are taking decision on 2000 unit basis. But still from where you can produce 500 units? Material is available. Yes, sir. Labor is available. Yes, sir. Machinery is available. Will it become finished goods? So whenever more than one key limiting factor is there, you are going to select that key limiting factor which is restricting you to the maximum extent for decision making. Hope it is clear. Now if we see few questions, you will be able to understand that. Shall we see? Okay. All illustrations are done, no? Illustration 10 now. This is done. This one is also done, no? This one is not completed, no? All other illustrations are done, right? Yes? Fine. So shall we discuss this illustration now? Yes? Listen everyone carefully. X Limited, everyone concentrate. X Limited supplies spare parts to an aircraft company Y Limited. The production capacity of X Limited facilitates production of any one spare part for a particular period of time. So Y Limited is there. Sorry, X Limited is there that supplies a material, some component to Y Limited. It produces two kinds of spare parts, but you can't produce both together. Either you can produce part A or you can produce part B. Now, which one will you select as a company? Whichever gives us more profit. The following are the cost and other information to the two spare parts. Per unit, alloy 1.6 kg is required for A, 1.6 kg is required for B. So alloy wise it is not a differentiating factor at all. Machine time P 0.6 hours, B 0.25 hours. Machine time Q 0.5 hours, 0.55 hours. Target price 145, 115. Target price means the price at which we are selling. The price at which we are selling. Total hours available. P 4000 hours are available. Q 4500 hours are available. Alloy available 13,000 kg is 12.5, which means here if they give that available things, then that means both of them are limiting most of the time. That we are going to check anyhow. Okay. Variable overhead per machinery is 80 and 100. Required. Identify the spare part which will optimize the contribution at the offered price. So which spare part will optimize the contribution at the offered price? You should select that. Second, if Y Limited reduces a target price by 10%, so it won't be 145, 115 anymore. It will be 145 minus 10%, 115 minus 10%. And offers 60 per hour of unutilized machine hours. They are going to reduce their price, buying price, but they are going to compensate you by giving rupees 60 per hour for your labor, machine hours which you are not utilizing. If at all any machine hours left unutilized, for that they are ready to pay you 60 rupees. Calculate the total contribution from the spare part identified above. You will identify either A or B in the point 1. For that, how much contribution you will get then if they reduce target price by 10% by compensating 60 rupees for machine hour you unutilized. That thing. Go through the question, we can start. Here they are not telling how many units. We are only going to select how many units. How much ever we want, sir, the answer is no. Because alloy is limited, machine hours are limited. Got it? Shall we start? Shall we start, people? Shall we? Okay. Now, first we want to find out maximum units to be produced. Not to be, can be. Shall we? Maximum units can be produced. A resource A, B. First resource we are going to take is alloy. Correct? Guys, how many kgs of alloy is available? 13,000 kgs. Now try to understand, in that 13,000 kgs, how many units we can produce? A will take how many kgs? So how many units of A can be produced? 8,125 units. B also remains same here in case of alloy. (8,125) units in case of alloy. Next is what? Machine P. how many hours are available? 4000 hours. Now, guys, A need how many hours of machine P? So, in that 4000 hours, if each and every unit takes 0.6 hours, 6,666 will take units. Sir, but round it off to next one. No, not at all possible. Because machine hour is less only. You can save in the machine hours, but you can't push the machine hours. Maximum is your 4000. Now, next one. 0.25. 16,000 units. 16,000 units. Machine Q. Q only, no? How many hours? 4,500 hours. 0.5, huh? 9,000 units. 0.55. Eight thousand 181 units. Now, units to be produced or units can be produced. Guys, try to understand. As per the material availability, A you can produce 8,125 units. As per machine P availability, you can produce 6,666 units. As per the Q availability, you can produce 9,000 units. Now, try to understand. If at all now you decide to produce A, 9,000 units, yes, machine Q will support you, no doubt in that. But you can't give an input of 9,000 units in terms of material at all, because material available is just 8,125. Okay, sir. Then we'll do one thing. We'll give the input of 8,125. Okay. Machine Q can process 9,000 units. So 8,125 easily it will process. No doubt in that. However, machine P, max to max it can process 6,666 units. Which means all the three factors will help you in processing to the extent of maximum of 6,666 units. Got it? That is, material also you can give an input of 6666. Material machine P will process, machine Q will also process, then you will get output. If you give some other number more than 6666, machine P will not process more than 6666. That will be of waste. Got it? Going to B. Let's say you give an input of 16,000 because machine P can process, but you don't have so much material at all. So you can't give an input at all. Okay. Sir, 8,181 now. Yes, machine P will process, machine Q will process, but again you don't have so much material with you. 8,125 material you can give. Machine P also will process, machine Q also will process. Moral of the story, 8,125 units. Now we got to know how many units of A can be produced during the year, how many units of B can be produced during the year. We haven't finalized yet whether to produce A or B. That we have to discuss now. Whether to produce A or B, that we have to discuss now. That is, whichever gives us more contribution, we will go for that. Simple. A gives more contribution, go for A. B gives more contribution, go for B. Now shall we compute a contribution? Computation of contribution. Computation of contribution. We have A, we have B. First let's compute the cost now. Then we'll go to the revenue. Fine, right? First cost is alloy. Yes or no? Guys, alloy A, we are producing how many units? 6,666. Each and every alloy will use 1.6 kgs and each kg will cost you, each kg of alloy will cost you how much? Sorry? 12.5. So A will be 1,33,320. We'll calculate for B. B, how many units we are planning to produce? That will also consume 1.6 kgs of alloy only, no? And it will cost you 12.5. $1,62,500. This is for A. This is for B. Alloy is done. Next is machine P. Machine P. Guys, A, how many units we are planning to produce again? 6,666. And each and every unit need 0.6 hours of machine P. And it will cost you rupees 80 per hour. 3 lakh 968. Coming to B, we are planning to produce 8125 units of this, where it considers or consumes 0.25. That's it. Oh, that's why you got 16,000 right there. 0.25 hours, which will come to 1,62,500. 1,62,500. Clear? Shall we go to the machine Q? Machine Q. A, B. Guys, A, we are producing 6,666 units. Machine Q will be used 0.5 hours, which will cost you rupees 100. How much? 3,33,300. If at all you have taken it as 6,660, 6.67, then you would have got it as 33333 might be. Next one, 8,125 units. It takes 0.55 hours of Q, which is 4 lakh 875. I hope only so many costs are there, no? No other cost? Okay. Now tell me how much is the total cost? Total cost. Let me take it as A. How much, sir? First one? 7,86,588. 588. Next one? 7,71,875. That will be our total cost. Next, revenue. Let me take it as B. For A it would be how many units? 6,666 units. And what is the price? 145. For B it is 8125. How many units? Sorry, how much per unit? 11. So how much is 666 into rupees 145? 9,66,570. 8125 into 115. 375. Now we'll calculate contribution. Contribution is nothing but B minus A. For B, 1,62,000. For A, 179,982 na. Okay. For B, 1,62,000. Now tell me which contribution is more. A is more. So we are going to select A. We are going to select A. End of the day, you produce B, you will get 162,500. You produce A, 179,982. Which one you will select as a company? No, that you can't see. When more than one limiting factors are there, you can't utilize everything, no? You have to give up some things. That will go to the second one. That will go to the second one. One more point they have asked, no? That is, if at all the target price is reduced by 10%, and they are ready to compensate for the machine hours you are unutilizing, then how much would be your contribution they are asking? No, second one. That we'll see now. What they are asking here? Where it went? If Y Limited, that is our customer, reduces target price by 10%, so A, it won't be 145 anymore, it will be 130.5. And they are offering you 60 rupees per hours of unutilized machine hour. Calculate the total contribution identified. Shall we start? Yes? Second one. Contribution. Computation of contribution. Computation of contribution. Hey, total cost we already calculated. That is not going to change. Total cost is not going to change. Revenue is going to change. Okay. Listen here. Swallow. What is that? Paper. Then chewing gum. Chewing gum you can't put it there, no? No, you can't. Why do you put the chewing? It's a paper. Nice. Rupees. First, revenue. Guys, here you are making revenue through two ways. One, sales. You are selling 6,666 units of A at the rate of 130.5, which will come to 8,69,913. And also you are taking a compensation. Compensation. What compensation, sir? Try to understand. Machine hour A, sorry, machine hour P. Availability is how many hours? 4,000 hours. Now, if you produce 6666 units, which takes 0.6 hours. How many hours of machine P is utilized? 4000 hours. Might be 0.5 something might remain, that you leave. So P we utilize fully. Towards that they are not going to compensate. However, machine Q, guys, how many hours are available? 4500 hours of machine Q is available. Yes or no? In that, how much we actually utilized? 6666 units utilizing 0.5 hours. May I know unutilized machine hours, please? 1167 hours are unutilized. Yes or no? For that unutilized hours, they are giving us a compensation of 60 rupees per hour. 70,020. So our total revenue would be 9,39,933. That will be your revenue minus cost. Cost I am not going to calculate again because we already calculated somewhere here. 7,86,000. Now contribution. How much? 1,53,345. Earlier you were getting 179,987, but if you go for this, you will get 153,345. Hope it is clear. Anyone, any doubt in this? Anyone, any doubt in this? No doubts? Paka? That was the last illustration, no? I hope all the illustrations are done then. Practical problems, how many are remaining?